This is Boxing Tickets NI, and we're joined with North Belfast Owen, the operator O'Neill. How's things, Owen?
All good, mate, all good. Just chin away. That's it.
Happy days. Obviously, it's hard to obviously have your training and stuff going at the moment because obviously there's no fight news pending. But obviously you yourself have been deep in preparation, helping two of your gym mates.
Yeah, I think I started training three months ago maybe. And I haven't stopped every single day, except really a Saturday and Sunday. So I've basically been in camp myself for nothing.
Definitely, but obviously the good news is I think we'd sort of mentioned to you the other day is you've helped prepare Lewis and Paddy for the big fight. So I'm sure obviously the hard work you've been doing with your training is paid off, knowing that you've the pride to sort of say I helped them guys.
Yeah, well, I was their sparring partner. I was their sparring partner, and done loads of rounds with Lewis, done loads of rounds with Paddy, for 3 months there. So and it's good the way they took their opponents out was it was good. Like, you know what I mean, Paddy first round stoppages, and then Lewis the way he ended your man Green flipping. I've been sparring to both of them. They didn't do that to me, but obviously they wouldn't do that to me. But I just mean like I was holding my own against them. So
Obviously, it stills you in confidence knowing that whenever you get back into action again.
yeah. So my confidence is sky high. Like, or my next opponent will not be as good as Paddy or Lewis. So that's good for me.
Good preparation for the future.
Yeah.
You obviously yourself all made your debut 25th of May last year in the Devonish. What can you remember about your debut?
Noise. Just remember really, I was nervous as hell. Sold 180, close to 200 tickets. It was just a bag of nerves, to be honest with you. I kept thinking, what if I get knocked out here in front of everyone? And then the good thing was, once I get in there, it was a good fight. It wasn't like your man was getting stuck into me, like, so it wasn't one of them fights where it was boring for everyone. So it was good for the crowd to watch because we were getting stuck into each other. So,
Would a lot of your fans normally be boxing fans, or would it probably be more from outside of boxing? Sometimes it may not have seen a lot of live boxing.
I feel my close mates are boxing fans, like, but like the likes of the Clinville boys and all, like, they were boxing, but they wouldn't really know. They wouldn't really be clued into it, like, you know what I mean. But it was all Emma's telling me it was the best fight of the night, spots, but I was loving it, you know what I mean.
Get them
I'm there to give the Emmons flipping entertainment, so it was good.
It's sort of kept them going because obviously you're the only pro in North Belfast now. We've obviously had really established pros in Paddy Barnes and Ryan Burnett, obviously retired. So
Carl as well. Yeah.
So pretty much other than you and Carl. Well, obviously Carl's moved out of North Belfast now, but pretty much only you for them to really get behind.
Yeah, well, that's it. If you said last year, like, could I be like them boys? I'd have said no, but now that I've put the work in, I've learnt the people I'm sparring and how well I'm doing. I can be the next one of them boys, like, and I know I will be. So it's good for my confidence. Sky high on it, like.
Fantastic, and that's what you want. Obviously, the boxers is the confidence. I think obviously our big memory is that ring walk. There's not too many occasions where it's hairs in the arm sort of stuff, but the atmosphere they brought, you could tell a lot of them were football fans because they know how to sing.
If it's class, like, I still watch the video over and over again. Like, I can't believe it's me. Actually, you had all the Clinville fans there, all the boys. They were going mad, and then all my mates, all my family from England and everything. It was unreal, just everyone standing on. That's what Leonard actually says to me. He goes, all the doormen are just slobbering to all your crowd, because all they do is stand on chairs. That's what you want, you know what I mean? You want them going mad. But so the ring walk was amazing.
It was. Yeah. And I say I wasn't really in a position where I could see a lot of it, but you could see the sort of everybody's eyes fixed, and it wasn't even just your fans; it was everybody in the Devonish. They were singing and cheering and going mad, and you were, what a place to make your, and then they get in and having the box 4 rounds as well. You're sort of going.
Well, it actually gave me when I changed up the gym change rooms, up there I was fitting shape myself, to be honest with you. And then when I got down and then started hearing there's only one Owen O'Neill, and that I hadn't even fought yet, so I was like, flip, this is me, like this is what I've always wanted to do. So it sort of gave me confidence to go out and put on a show, like, you know what I mean?
Definitely did. And you obviously didn't really have much time to take in your debut. Pretty much straight away you get a call you were going to be on the MTK show.
Well, I flipped and put on loads of weight between that time. But I got offered that fight and I couldn't believe it. Like, I was starstruck, to be honest with you. That's basically one of my dreams come true so early on in my career, flipping the fight in Ulster Hall under NTK and all. And the way it was live on IFL TV, I had family in Australia watching it now. It was amazing. But then again, I thought, when we fighting the journeyman here, it's going to be easy. But sure, the second round and you're getting knocked out, I could hit a cracker. So that made me realise that the program, it's proper, it's serious, like, it's dangerous, you know what I mean? You're not just fighting plunkers in there, like, you know what I mean? So
it definitely is, and obviously, as I say, one punch can change everything. You know, like, it's probably the best show of, you know, particularly obviously in Northern Ireland last year, but it's probably one of the best shows of the whole year.
I admit that.
You know,
every fight was a cracker.
You had Ward and Conroy, and McKenna and Foley.
Yeah, and then even Keaton Hines' fight was good. Lewis Crocker's fight was good. Obviously, the big mate Taylor, he could beat, but flipping every fight was mad. There was no some guy was just boxing the head of someone for the whole flipping 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, whatever.
It was a great card. It had everything on it.
I'm glad I was part of it. Like, you know, I can always say it was probably one of the best shows ever. You know what I mean? For every fight being good.
And obviously, you back from then you sort of had a bit of a break. You fought Paul Cummins in the Devonish.
Big lanky Paul.
Big lanky Paul. Fought him in the Devonish October of last year, and then you had your 4th pro fight, 1st of February, obviously this year. Again at the Devonish. Obviously some people may have not have seen your last fight in the Devonish because of a show clash between MTK and Boxing Ireland. So I know ourselves it's our only fight we haven't seen of you yet. So
probably my best performance to date, actually. Didn't really get hit as much, you know what I mean? But the guy kept holding on to me every time I was getting in range. He just held on to me. So it was a dirty fight, but it was good. It's a good learning fight, you know what I mean?
Just wanted a bit of loving, did he? Just wanted a hug.
Flipping will let go of me.
So your current record's currently 4-0.
Yep.
You're currently classified on Boxer as a super welterweight. Is that the weight you're going to class as, or are you going to come down in weight?
No, my next fight I'm going to fight at super lightweight, definitely, 1,000,000%. Everything's going well at the minute. I'm on route to make it whatever the next fight is. I'm just sitting at a good weight now. Where before I always used to balloon up into the 80s, where now I'm sitting 70s, low 70s, constantly. After the weekend too, I'm still waking up close to the 70 mark. So the next fight I'm going to be fighting super lightweight, and I'm going to put on a show, like, definitely. I'm
actually quite shocked at that. Obviously, I thought with super welterweight, I thought you'll move down one weight class, but to move down 2. Yeah. It's such an adjustment to obviously make, you know. So we're actually in the last day of 24 years. So tomorrow you're going to be an old man. You're going to be halfway to 50. So
Jesus.
What's the birthday plans?
Going gold carding with a couple of boys and then head downtown for a few pints. This is my first birthday in probably 4 or 5 years, maybe 5 years that I haven't that I'm actually allowed to drink. Because every time before I've had fights coming up, championships when I was amateur, or last year when I was fighting in October, so I couldn't drink. So I'm going to enjoy it. Like,
going to enjoy it, definitely. So for anybody that obviously doesn't know who Owen O'Neill is, Owen the Operator O'Neill, Triple O, the Belfast Canelo.
Yep.
You know the nicknames are building up. Tell everybody obviously about, you know, your amateur career and what got you into boxing.
Yeah, well, my granddad was a boxer and my great uncle was a boxer. I didn't really get into it because of the Emmons, to be honest with you. I was always into football. And then my 2 cousins were boxers, Ryan and Stephen. I used to go down with the Emmons on a Friday night, and that's how I started. Like, I wasn't sparring or anything. I was just going really down to say I went to boxing training, do you know what I mean, at the weekend. And then started getting good at it and started getting better than them boys. And then M2 actually don't even box no more, so I've stayed at it, dedicated myself, and now pro. But as an amateur, I only had like 18, 20 fights. So I never won a championship. I could be in about 4 or 5 finals. Probably 2 of them, I'd say I got robbed. But alright, so I've fought for Ireland about 4 times. Cyprus, Spain, Belgium, down south. So I've
Quite well travelled, but
I've
obviously,
had good, I've had good experience fighting away, like so.
definitely. So obviously now the plan is to obviously hopefully get a fight outside of the UK or Ireland.
Well, anything, anything.
Anything will do. Has it always, since you got into boxing, then has it always been an ambition to turn pro? If you're saying there you've had 18 to 20 amateur fights, why did you want to turn pro?
I think because it was always drilled into me. I started boxing when I was about 12, 13, but not like dedicated. Didn't dedicate myself to like maybe 20, as in boxing. But it was always drilled into me by Mickey Kelly, Paddy Fitzsimmons. Oh, you'd be a great pro. So I used to just come forward. When I used to spar down the doctors, I was sparring by Chris Devaney and James McDonald. They were all cracking boxers back then, and I used to just go forward constantly and never took a step back. And everyone used to say you'd make a good pro. So and then I actually Tommy Kelly, Ginger Tommy, he brought me around to John Breen's gym when I was about 13, and Mick Conlon was there. Jimmy was training as well, and I don't know, it was like starstruck when I went in, and then trained there for a full week, and I always knew that's what I wanted to do. The sweatsuits, the skipping, the heat, it's just something that I really enjoy, you know what I mean?
The Super Stairs and John Breen's gym. I don't think anybody ever goes to John Breen's gym. They say it's not under 30 degrees. I think I was doing Kathy McAlear's interview the other week, and she was saying, even when she's training her own gym at the house, she puts the heat on for a bit and stuff, so you have to work and sweat, But
I actually remember doing pads with McGee one of the days I was there, and he was like 1-2 roll or something I was doing, and I didn't roll, and he hit me and busted my lip. But like I wasn't like flipping, oh my god, why did he do that? But actually, like, this is class. Like, he just hit me here because I didn't roll, you know what I mean? And it just always stuck with me, and I always tell people about that. And I was only maybe 13 at the time. I just remember going, this is what I want to do, like, definitely.
It's not like you could go home to somebody and say, here, he hit me. They're not going to go and sort it out, but I guess obviously you learn your lessons very quick. If you don't follow the instructions, you're going to get a punch in the mouth.
Well, see, I remember that, like, coming home, had like a wee cut under my lip, and telling my uncles and telling everyone, phoned my daddy up, and everyone was telling it. I thought it was powerful. Me getting hit by McGee, but it wasn't a proper punch, but he hit me a slap, like, because it didn't roll, but I always remember that there.
Good memories to have.
Yeah.
So obviously you sort of touched on the fact that you sell quite a lot of tickets. I think it's sort of brought you probably into more of the spotlight of people, because people's going to shows and going, who's this guy? It sort of came from nowhere. So how is the influence of selling a lot of tickets at the start helped you?
Well, I wouldn't have fought an MTK card if I didn't sell tickets. You know what I mean? I would be well known, like, it's and I don't know why, to be honest with you. Like, I take my dog and I'll walk, or today actually, I walked past the barber's there down the Hampton Road, and some guy was like, any fights coming up? And I didn't know who it was. I was like, no, flipping down to, but I didn't know who it was. So I don't know, it's maybe because there's not many people, they're going to the fights and then they're recording on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. It's just getting more people to see who I am.
You start wearing sunglasses and walking the dog on the street.
I think it's class. I love it, you know what I mean?
So obviously the good aspect with that is obviously if you sell tickets, I think sometimes a lot of people look past boxers' talents nowadays, and then they go, if you can sell tickets, you're on the show. So it's going to give you opportunities, that probably other people won't get. So you may get opportunities sooner. You've obviously already had one with the MTK show, but there's talk of obviously Eddie Hearn coming back to Belfast potentially. You're probably in the running there for that, with the fact that you sell tickets straight away.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Last year, I probably would have called myself a ticket seller, just to be honest with you. But now, I know I've learned boxing. Like, I'm more or less like an all-round fighter now. I've learned so much during that lockdown. It was the best thing for me. So I've got the confidence, but I hope people do see me as a ticket seller because it'll be proved wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, definitely. And I say it's not what we would or personally say ourselves, but everybody always like to know somebody.
Yeah, even me last year, I would probably have just caught myself because I remember MTK get me on that, and like the other side, but in the back of my head I was like, they're only really want me on this because I sell tickets and aren't really interested in me. Do you know what I mean? So I always used to think about that, and then but now I know I'm definitely 10 times the boxer I was last year. Like,
gives you a point to prove as well. I guess sometimes you go, you know what, I'm going to show people I'm not a ticket seller. I've guys that got talent as well.
Yeah. Well, suppose even last year in that fight, MTK, but when you get knocked out by a journeyman second round, so if people were just calling me a ticket seller, fair play to them because I didn't really perform that night. It was probably my worst performance to date. I was fat. I was flapping all hanging over my flipping ball guard and all, so it just wasn't a really a good performance for myself.
But I guess the good thing is you were able to take a punch and come back. So
well, at least I know I can take a punch, sort of. You know what I mean?
Definitely did. The so obviously you initially started out under Gerard and Dan in Glean. How did that come about?
I was boxing for Monkstown as an amateur, and I remember going to Marie Peters one day and doing a sprint session with Paddy, and Gerard was there and Dan, and then Gerard took me on pads, and he goes, "You not spar Paddy?" I was like, "Oh, no problem," but I was loving it. I was like, "Yes, no problem, 100%." The next day, I went up and sparred Paddy and got Glean. I think he dropped me every round. My body shot to the back end, maybe over 2 years ago. And then it just came about that. Like Dan sort of sat me down, like, "Do you wanna?" I always wanted to be a professional boxer, but I just didn't really have the confidence to do it. You know what I mean? So just really ran up with them and just started training away. I was still working full time, so I only trained Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when I first started with Gerard and Dan, and Donnelly and on Taylor. But Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Gerard were sparring days, so I was going up on the hard, like the sparring days, every single time I was there. You know what I mean? Where I wasn't. The Tuesday and Thursdays were like technical days, just hit the bag, pads, whatever. So I think that sort of showed that I had the will and I wanted to improve, and when I was like, not many people would come up every day just to spar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then just really, Gerard said to Dan, "Do you reckon he could sell tickets? Because the pro game's it's a hard sport." And Dan was like, "Yeah, he'll be able to sell tickets." And then Gerard was like, "Oh, well,
we'll get him signed over."
Try and get him signed then.
I remember obviously getting up to watch Paddy and the build up to the Kuwait fight, and obviously at that stage you were coming through. You know, I think I didn't even know who you were at the start. Yeah. So took obviously a couple of times, and you were obviously helping Paddy prepare for the Kuwait fight and stuff there. So how did the Boxing Ireland thing then come about, signing with them?
I didn't really want. I wasn't actually planning on signing pro as soon as I did. I was just going to plan on training and just improving, getting the weight down, and then I think Dennis came up one day. There was someone sparring and he was up, and it says that there was going to be a show on the 25th of May, and then it was either that, get a fight, or just keep waiting. So I was like, flipping, right, let's go. So Gerard said, I think you'd be ready in Dan, so that's why I ended up signing my Emmons, because I knew 25th of May, but March, April, May, 3 months away. I had another like 3 months of training, and then that's definitely from a debut. But it couldn't be any better. I'm glad it is. You know what I mean? So
they hung a carrot date there for you. Here we'll get you a show in 3 months. So Dennis was in the right place at the right time. So they've obviously snared you up.
It was probably a bit. Because look at the crowd and all. You know what I mean? It was unreal. One of the best nights of my life, like, definitely. You've
probably been one of the, in the last year or so, you've probably been one of the ones that's made their debut, it's made the biggest impact. It obviously coming through. So, like some people can take about 4 or 5, maybe 6 fights sometimes before people start to recognise them. So the good thing is we having the follow in there. It's been hard not to, because a lot of the focus is put on you, because you're selling tickets effectively as well.
It's good too, the people I was training with and all, who was in camp with.
You look, as I say, I've actually funny as a question. You look at some of the people you've sparred and been in camps with: Stephen Donnelly, Conrad Cummins, Paddy Gall, Lewis Crocker, Paddy McCrory, and Rory Dalton. That's obviously helped you massively in turning over.
I remember, like, one of the first days I went up to spar with Gerard and stuff. Donnelly came up. It was like his first day too, and I ended up sparring him. I was like, well, I remember Gerard saying they're going to bounce into a couple of rounds with Donnelly. I was like, he's going to punch ahead of me here. I remember watching him on Commonwealth Games, Olympics, Ulster, down the Doctors Club, the Ulster Hall. I was like, this guy's going to absolutely empty me in here, and I actually done really well against him. And from having looked back, I remember sparring Conrad too when he came. I was like, that's him with Conrad Cummins here. I remember watching him, and sparred him, flipping, and obviously Lewis and the Rook and all. I don't really spar the Rook, but spar Lewis, and remember I've watched Lewis for 5 years now, baby. Even when he was amateur, remember what at knockouts, the first round knockouts, watching them on TV, the news when it was on. We're now, me and him are very close mates, and it's just mad how things work out.
Definitely, I was going to say sometimes, say if you hadn't wanting that run in Mary Peter's track, where would you sort of be now?
That's true, yeah.
Obviously since then, Gerard sort of went into retirement of boxing, so you've obviously linked up with D, the legend Walsh. How's that been?
Brilliant. Flipping, it couldn't be going any better. Flipping, much I've learnt is, I just hope when I do get a fight, I can show people. I don't want to put too much pressure on me. I want to see him a different fighter, and then you end up going in and flipping something bad happens. But the stuff I've learnt with D is mental. Some of the stuff that he shows me I've never even heard of. I've been boxing since I was about 13. Levels, phases. I've never heard of that before.
Setting traps.
I've never flipping heard that before I started with these, you know what I mean? So
you're thinking that he's saying he's setting traps, you're going, what, is there mice in here,
you know what I mean?
Where's the cheese sort of thing,
So training's brilliant, the crack and all we have is good. It's a good thing too, we don't spar every Friday. Well, so for Lewis and Paddy, we sort of sparred Tuesday and a Thursday, just like I had sparred Lewis on Tuesday and then sparred Paddy on the Thursday or something like that. But when we're sort of back to normal up in the club, well, we are up in the club now, but when everything back to normal, sparring days are a Friday, so I enjoy that too, you know what I mean? You can train all week, learn stuff, and then try it out in sparring on the Fridays, you know what I mean?
And obviously D himself's obviously been a boxer and stuff as well. You obviously sometimes, I know you're a big football fan and stuff as well, sometimes you say really good managers have obviously been really good players.
Yeah.
So do you think that would probably be a fair thing to say with D's been in there and done it?
Yeah, but I definitely, because D was probably the best defensive fighter from Belfast's singlet, you know what I mean? I think you were talking the other day, like D doesn't talk crap, and he said just out of his 12 fights, I think he get hit twice in the whole of and I wouldn't think he's lying, like, you know what I mean? And so that's what the training's all about. Yes, attacks and all too, but it's about not getting hit, and that's the most important thing too, you know what I mean? And for me anyway, because I am a forward fighter, I want to take less punishment as possible, you know what I mean? So
definitely, and obviously as I say, one punch can change things, it ruins anybody's plans, so if you're not going to get hit, then it's bringing up your opportunities of winning even more.
Definitely.
So obviously it's stable, even obviously talking to you during this interview, you can see that you're buzzing, stable, if it wasn't buzzing before last Wednesday, it is now. Obviously Lewis with a knockout, Paddy got in and out in 70 seconds. It's like one of the Gone in 60 Seconds, a Nicolas Cage film, Gone in 70 Seconds. You've obviously helped both men to prepare for their fight. So first and foremost, obviously not just being friends with him, but it must make you proud. You've helped.
Yeah, well, that's what I've said to you before. Like the way they get rid of their opponents, like it's brilliant. Like it was unreal. I sparred the both of them for the whole camp. So it was unreal. Even I sparred Sean McComb for his fight. I only sparred him for a full week, but still done plenty of rounds for him. Sparred Sam Maxwell one of the days too. Like these guys I'm sparring here. Like 2 years ago I'd have been watching them, you know what I mean? At fights. I'd have been standing drinking on the outside of it. So now I'm helping them prepare for fights. For soon it's going to be my turn. You know what I mean?
Do you think the sort of the people you're getting to spar with and things like that? Well, a lot of boxers nowadays will say that they get preparation. I think James Tennyson, some of his preparation in years past was Carl Frampton, Josh Warrington and things like that. So it proofs in the
Definitely
pudding
so,
there that
yeah.
obviously sparring with people is better and you're learning good things off
Yeah,
them.
for 1,000,000%. There's times I've sparred Lewis and after he's said me, mate, do this, do that. Like he's given me advice, big Paddy as well. Sean McComb actually, the last day of sparring Sean, I done really well against Sean, but after he came out and gave me plenty of advice. He was like, you're bent every time you throw a jab, you're right, you're bent down to your right. Like try and always slip to your left. No, he was giving me advice. So there's guys there that Sean's probably the biggest prospect coming out of Ireland, you know what I mean? I'm doing well sparring, plus he's giving me advice. Like,
It's unbelievable. Obviously, the last, I interviewed Sean the other day. In the last two years, he's fought Windsor Park, fought in Boston, fought in Amsterdam, fought in Birmingham, fought in the TV card in Fela. They think of 11 fights as a pro, and they think of where he's been.
And done it.
And obviously now he'll soon be a daddy as well. Be daddy cool.
That's right. So flip, his career's been brilliant for him. Brilliant, that's what it is. And not many people really give Sean a chance when he turned pro, because his style is an amateur, but he's unreal.
But it's obviously a good person for you to look at as well, and obviously where he's come the last 2 years, to think of where you could be in 2 years.
Yeah, but
as well.
That's what I'm saying, mate. Last year I'd have never thought I'd have been thinking the way I'm thinking now. I can see myself winning titles, like definitely 100%. Last year, well, I wouldn't have turned pro if I didn't want to win titles, but I just mean the confidence now is flipping sky high. So it's just can't wait to fight and show people, you know what I mean?
You're right, and obviously, as I say, other than helping the lads train, obviously, it sort of hasn't been a good lockdown for you to look at, because you're obviously your own promoters. Boxing Ireland wouldn't be the not obviously disrespecting them, but they wouldn't be the A-class sort of ones, the Sky Sports, the Frank Warrens, the NDKs. They wouldn't have the money behind them, so they need a crowd to get cards going. So it must be sort of tough for you in a way to go, I don't know when I'm going to be fighting again.
It's sort of demotivating a wee bit, because I have trained so hard there for them past 3 months with Lewis and Padraig. And now them boys don't have, there's no one really in the camp fighting at the minute, so just, you know what I mean, where them and that was actually helped me come up. Like when Lewis was fighting, I have to go to them and help Lewis out, or with Padraig, I have to go to them and spar Padraig, help him out. When I sort of, you're like flipping, when's my fight going to be? And then I seen someone saying yesterday there might not be fights until the new year, and I don't really want to wait till then. Like
10 months in the ring after obviously having 4 fights in 9 months, so you're sort of trying to build momentum, and now you're sort of having to restart again.
Just in a really good zone now, and just want to stand the fight. You know what I mean? It's not as easy as that, like, but just.
So if there's any promoters out there looking somebody to fight in one of their cards,
I say to Leonard,
give Leonard and Boxing Ireland a shout, and no one's ready to go. Obviously, most people normally in lockdown, with things going on, obviously the pandemic in the world and everything else, and not being able to keep active. The good thing for you was Tony O'Neill's now getting involved with the team, hoping to make it way easier. How's that come about? Or
well, Tony helped me in my last fight and made it way easy. I was eating the whole week of the way in and stuff. Done the water cut thing. I didn't have a clue about that before I worked with Tony, and it worked wonders with me. It's mad, like drinking 8 litres of water like 3 days before a weigh-in. Like I would never have thought that. But so I sort of flipping, as everyone lockdown got everyone by flipping, it messed everyone up a flipping wee bit, like the first 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it bloomed up to the 80 odds, and got involved with Tony and started working away with him, and got down to the 70.9 was the lowest I got down to, which is mental. I weighed in 71 all my other fights. So Tony's, you can't explain how he helps you or something. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but he just makes you accountable for everything. You know what I mean?
It's the science. The science is crazy behind it all.
It's mental. There's no way I can't describe how he helps you, but he helps you.
He's some sort of guru.
Yeah.
Like before you actually made your pro debut, obviously in the build up to it, you were 91 kilos. So do you think of
91 kg, a heavyweight boxer?
They think of obviously, what, inside 2 years you went from 91 kilo to 71, and you're actually going to go down even further to super lightweight. So
yeah, well, I weighed 69 when I was amateur. for the Ulsters when I fought Dominic. I can definitely do it. So even now, like when I was 70.9 with Tony here, about 3 weeks ago, are still fat on me, like, still, know what I mean? I'm 73 at the minute. There's plenty of fat on me, so I'll definitely be able to make it, like, definitely.
Never know, you could take over Paddy Barnes' spot and obviously get back down to flyweight, you know.
Don't know about that, may cut my leg off.
Obviously, what have you thought of the, you know, obviously we're going to have the big influence of Lewis and Paddy's fights there, but what have you thought of the shows during lockdown?
Brilliant, unreal. The best thing about them is there's no crowd there. Like, you can hear the punches, you can hear the body shots, you can hear the corners. It's unreal. Even James Tennyson's fight, you hear the digs he was hitting your man, like, it was unreal. And then Lewis's were scary, like gunshots. But the fights have been unreal. So they have. And then Frampton actually hitting what was calling your man? Trainer?
Darren Trainer.
Aye, Darren Trainer. The body shots he was hitting them, did you hear it? They were like gunshots
too.
Aye, so it's class. There's been good fights, like.
Gives you a urge to go back in again.
Yeah, I can't wait. Right.
Run about the house shadow boxing.
10 times, I can't wait.
So obviously looking at the weight class, you're obviously going to move into super lightweight. You know, it's stacked with plenty of talent. You've obviously Noel Murphy, Pierce O'Leary, Francie Luzo and Stephen McKenna. You wouldn't be the sort of person to call anybody out, but I'm obviously, you know, the sort of reason I look at it in that way is, you know, your dream was obviously become an Irish champion, so potentially at some stage you may have to face one of them guys.
Yeah, definitely. Pierce is class. I watched Pierce there a couple weeks ago. He's a class boxer, like, plus he carries power. Stevie McKenna, that's McKenna's brothers.
Yeah.
I've sparred Stevie a couple of times. If it comes to it, the fight them boys, no problem.
Not that obviously you're calling them out, but obviously just the idea of sort of who's going to be in the weight classes.
You're not going to be fighting an Irish. When you fight for an Irish title, you're not going to be fighting the plunkers, you know what I mean? So it's going to have to be one of them boys, you know what I mean?
Where would your dream fight location be?
Solitude.
You're obviously a big Cliftonville fan, so you'll not be fighting down at Korean showgrounds then.
No way, flip scum. Sheep shaggers.
Obviously, who's impressed you the most out of the fight camps? You know, is there anybody you've sort of taken a shine to more other boxing, or has there been anything stood out for you the most out of it all?
See, to be honest, just because I've sparred Sean, Sam Maxwell, Lewis and Paddy, that's all I really was interested in, to be honest with you, and then that's all I really put my main focus on, do you know what I mean? I fought Conlon was class, the way he boxed, even though he was hitting him on a couple of low blows, but I didn't think he meant them. But and Tanny's just unreal, you know what I mean? He obviously has power to flipping power like a horse. There's no words to describe his power.
He could knock out a horse.
Do you know what I mean? So I just can't get myself a fight and then show everyone my improvements too, you know what I mean?
Definitely, and hopefully fingers crossed that happens. Anything else you'd like to add to the interview?
Oh, all good.
Obviously, how, you know, with the lockdown and everything else, how's it been with sponsors and things? Are sponsors still staying involved?
Yeah, there's a couple of sponsors who Cam Clusley Barber Co. Rubens has sorted me out again. Trying to think. SR Fitness, they paid for Tony, the whole timer with Tony.
Couldn't do it otherwise.
Do you know what I mean? So and then SR trained there all this week for free. My man got me in because Dee was away, obviously. So there's a couple there, I probably forgot a couple, but I've loads of sponsors.
You've loads of them, too many to name. You did an interview just for them.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously, as I say, with the pandemic and everything else going on, it's good to see a sponsor staying behind you as well.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Because you need money to go training, do stuff like that. So they're a big help. You know what I mean?
Just obviously one final question, obviously, before I do let you go. Whenever you were younger, obviously coming through boxing, did you ever think that anybody who was a pro boxer was a millionaire? You know, anybody just was a professional boxer? Did you ever have the opinion to think they're a millionaire, and now that you're a pro, think where's the millions?
When I was younger, not even young, maybe 3 years ago, I thought everyone in pro boxing made a few quid, like, but that's not the way it is.
It's hard to come by, and it's only when
people, my own cousins, I remember for about 6 months ago or something. He goes to me, I goes to him, I was skint, and he goes, how are you skint? I'm skint. He goes, you're not getting away 4 or 5 grand fighting. I wish I was, Jesus Christ.
Be my promoter and I'll sign me up if you're giving me that.
He thought I got that much money, like.
It's crazy, obviously, the thought process of somebody not involved, you know, like not obviously saying any costs and stuff involved or anything, but you know, you fight shorts to get sorted, you've medicals and stuff to do and everything else, and then you've obviously to pay for maybe people coming to sparring and things like that. You know, it's crazy and money involved.
I remember flipping, I think Paddy paid Sam Maxwell one time to come over. I think that's the way it is, like, and I remember Donnelly getting offered to go away to Poland or something.
Poland, I think it was Poland.
It's good though, like, yeah. And then I think Keegan was on the talks of going away to spar someone as well, for money. So once you get recognised, like, you can make money doing that too. But the main focus for me, like, is to make money from actually fighting and winning titles. You know what I mean?
I think James Tennyson's probably the easiest one where he's went away to spar Josh Warrington, and after one day Josh got injured. So James was obviously paid for the rest of the week, so paid in advance, so he got a nice handy spar.
Jesus.
And obviously now he's still the story to say that here I sparred with a world champion sort of there, you know. So it's obviously helped him in his own pursuit.
I'd say he'd be a world champion here within.
Fingers crossed. He'd probably be somebody similar to yourself as well. You know, come forward heavy handed.
Yeah, I haven't proved that I'm heavy handed yet, but I think when I get down to super lightweight I will, because I'm sick of people saying to me I do punch hard. I haven't showed it, you know what I mean? So I think when I get down to super lightweight, I'll
see the best of it then.
And I always watch James, to be honest with you, Tanny, on YouTube and stuff. I do think I sort of box like him a wee bit, like, you know. And he's not really a great boxer. He's just very simple but great at it, you know what I mean?
Knows what he wants to do. Just
that's where I am, to be honest with you. So I love watching him. Really.
Yes. Well, look, Owen, we'll let you go. Obviously, thanks very much for your time, and fingers crossed. Obviously, hopefully things change soon and we can get you back out fighting.
Get me out.
All right, cheers. Take care.